Your aquarium is turning green and your fish are stressed and you're ready to quit. Here's the truth they don't tell you about algae and why it's sabotaging new aquariums. Hey, you've bought a shiny new tank, picked out your favorite fish, and set everything up. It's supposed to be a beautiful underwater world, right? But instead, it's turning into an algae jungle. Sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. Algae is the #1 frustration for new aquarium owners. And most advice out there is just scratches the surface. Hey, today I'm breaking down why algae takes over and how you can stop it for good. Let's get into it. Here's the challenge. Algae thrives in almost every aquarium. It's relentless, fast-growing, and often feels impossible to control. Well, you might clean it off one day, only to see it return with a vengeance the next. What makes it worse? New tanks are especially vulnerable because they're not yet mature. But what does that even mean? And why does algae seem to target beginners so aggressively? Let's uncover the reasons, starting with the most overlooked culprit: imbalance. Algae loves imbalance. Too much light, excessive nutrients, or unstable water chemistry. These issues are common in new tanks because, let's face it, getting everything dialed in can feel like an overwhelming science experiment. Another major factor: misinformation. Many first-time aquarium owners unknowingly make decisions that fuel algae growth. Whether it's overfeeding, using the wrong light, or skipping crucial maintenance steps. Hey, stick around because I will show you how to avoid these mistakes and get your tank on track. Hey, first, let's talk about algae is. Algae isn't inherently bad. It's a natural part of any aquatic ecosystem, but in excess, it becomes a problem. There are different types of algae, each with its own unique traits: green algae, brown diatoms, hair algae, and even the dreaded blackbeard algae. So why does algae thrive in new tanks? It's all about the nitrogen cycle. In a new setup, beneficial bacteria are still establishing. And during this cycle period, ammonia and nitrate levels can spike. So algae takes advantage of these nutrient surges, exploding in growth before your tank's ecosystem has had a chance to balance it out. New aquarium owners often leave lights on for way too long, thinking it will help plants grow or make the tank look nice. In reality, excessive light is like steroids for algae. Even worse, some aquarium lights are poorly designed and emit wavelengths that algae absolutely loves. Hey, you're trying to keep your fish happy, so you sprinkle in food and then a little more just to be sure. But uneaten food breaks down into nutrients that algae feast on. Hey, if you're not testing your water regularly, you're flying blind. High nitrates and phosphates are like an open buffet for algae. In new tanks, plants haven't fully rooted or started growing vigorously. Without plants to outcompete algae for nutrients, algae gets free rein. Hey, let's get practical. Here's how to stop algae from taking over your tank. Limit light to 6 to 8 hours a day and consider using a timer. If you're growing plants, use a light specifically designed for aquariums with proper spectral output. Avoid placing your tank near windows where natural light can hit it. Feed your fish only what they can consume in 2 minutes. Remove any uneaten food immediately. This not only reduces nutrients in the water, but it also keeps your fish healthier. Perform weekly water changes of anywhere from 25 to 30%. This removes excess nutrients and helps stabilize your tank. Use a gravel vacuum to clean up the debris. Plants like hornwort, water sprite, and anacharis grow quickly and outcompete algae for nutrients. Floating plants like duckweed can also block light from reaching algae. Invest in a good water testing kit to monitor ammonia, nitrates, and nitrites, and phosphates. Aim for nitrates under 20 ppm and minimal phosphates. Certain fish and invertebrates like nerite snails, amano shrimp, and even Siamese algae eaters can help keep algae in check. But don't rely solely on them. They're just part of the solution. Here's the key takeaway. Algae isn't a sign of failure. It's a signal. When you see algae, it's your tank telling you there's an imbalance. By understanding what algae needs to grow and systematically cutting off its food supply, you can regain control. The first few months of aquarium keeping are the toughest, but once your tank matures, managing algae becomes so much easier. Algae may feel like the enemy, but it's also a teacher. It forces you to learn about your tank's ecosystem and fine-tune your approach. So remember, balance is everything, control your light, and feed sparingly. Test your water and add plants to create a thriving, low algae aquarium. Want to learn tips to keep your tank thriving? Watch this next video. It's packed with secrets every aquarium owner needs. And I will see you there.